Good afternoon. Welcome to this ePortfolio webinar looking at some forthcoming changes to the summary report within ePortfolio. Over the course of the next 10 minutes I'd like to introduce this change to you. I'd like to explain why the change is happening, but also explain how the new report will be similar and also different to the current report. The purpose of the summary report within ePortfolio is to count up the number of submissions that your trainees make in different types of category, such as assessments and different types of forms. You can also filter by the type of post which trainees are in as well as filter by some dates. A diagram might help to try and explain how the new report will look compared to the old report and how it will function differently. Within ePortfolio, internally we classify forms according to the following hierarchy. At the top level we have categories of forms, which consist of several form groups, and within the form groups are individual forms. The current way that the summary report reports upon its reports is that it groups them together by form category. It presents them in fixed categories, and so what we're looking to do is change the level of the reporting to the form group level. You can see from the diagram this is a more granular, detailed level. We're also going to be making it so that you'll choose which form groups you actually want to report upon. So a quick example. First of all, the current stage or state of this report. Here's an example. You can see from here that you select up the dates you want forms to be going from, you select a grade, and also you look at the post dates as well and a location. Here's the kind of output you would get from this. Each of the headings here is a different form category. The rows show counts for each trainee, which we've blanked out in this particular example. It shows the counts of their form completions for each of these categories of form. The question mark shows what this shorthand for each one means. On the current summary report, there are fixed categories as follows. I'd like to show you how you can drill through into this. There's a magnifying glass on the right of the page on each row. You click on the magnifying glass and it drills through to the individual forms within that trainee's summary there. In this case there are 12 forms in total. How will the future report look? Well, looking back again, here is the current summary report user interface, and here's how it will look in the future. I'll spin between the two quickly to show you the difference. In the old version, there's no way to select up which form categories or groups that you wish to look at. They're fixed. Under the new style, there's a choice. You get a choice of which of the form groups you want to show on the report. I'd like to use this example to show you how you can get exactly the same results as you were able to get with the previous version of this summary report, but also have more flexibility in what reporting you're able to look at. I've selected up the 3 form groups which are able to create the same output as before. Here's what the output would be of that particular example. In this case, the headings, we've only selected 3 in this case. The heading tells you the number of completed forms in that particular group. It tells you that if you click on the question mark, because in this case, slightly unfortunately, they've all got the same first 3 letters, so you can find out what that means, that shorthand, by clicking on that question mark. in this case the supervision and clinical forms of this column here. As before, you drill down on the magnifying glass to find out exactly what these forms are, and it's the same forms as before. So this example has showed that you can get exactly the same results as you were able to before, just in a different way, and now you can choose which form groups you're actually looking at. So a summary of the benefits of this change. The change is going to make the report more flexible and improve the detail possible from the report. A key benefit is that your site will be able to report on more form groups than you are able to at the moment, and this will extend the usefulness of this particular report. That previous example was intended to show you how this report can still be used to do exactly the same outputs as you currently can do. But it can do different things now as well. You can report on different form groups to that which you were able to before. Previously the form categories were fixed. Now you can choose the form groups, the lower level. Again, to go back to the diagram, we're now reporting on these more detailed form groups rather than these fixed categories of form as before. In this case, I've selected up 5 different form groups, and you wouldn't have these on the report previously. And the report looks the same. It's got different headings now to reflect your choice of form group. And you're able to click through as before on these question marks to see what this means, this heading. So to quickly summarize this change and what it means. The report currently works as a way to sum up the different types of assessments and forms which your trainees have completed so far. And you can filter by things like post and also date of completion, but also date of post as well. The current report has fixed categories. It's based on fixed form categories. This makes it inflexible, and also the level of detail isn't particularly high because it's factoring in such a large number of forms at such a high level. So what's changing is that the report will now be grouping or counting forms at the form group level. Each of the totals will consist of fewer forms, but you can still get the same results. It's just in a slightly different way. The benefits are that the report will become more flexible and will have a lot more detail in the report than you're previously having. You can report on more form groups than you're currently able to, and it would extend the usefulness of this report. I've used the terms form category and form groups during this webinar. To recap quickly what these mean, this particular terminology. Referring to the diagram again quickly, the hierarchy is as follows. Form category is a large grouping of forms. Within that we have form groups, which is the lower down level in the hierarchy, and within that individual forms. And finally, is anything else changing about this report? Well, I'd like to reassure you that the only change to this report is as follows. Currently, there's no ability to filter or choose which form groups you have, and now you'll be able to choose. That's the only change to this report. Nothing else is changing. And in fact, the way the report looks and works and other aspects of its functionality are going to be unchanged. So you'll be able, importantly, to get exactly the same results as you currently can if you have, say, a fixed workflow to produce this report. Well, that concludes today's discussion. If you've got any questions, we'd be very glad to answer them. You can ask any of your account managers or drop us a note. Thanks very much for joining today. Goodbye.